Kian, not bad here. Location filming on the beach in Cannes and during TFWE week. The first question I really want to ask you is, what prompted you to focus on the airport and travel retail market?
To be perfectly frank, we got into the airport and retail market more or less by accident. So we have a long history of building very big global e-commerce marketplaces for companies like Panasonic, Deutsche Telekom, PlayStation, Sony, etc. And we got invited to a tender for Frankfurt Airport to build this huge marketplace for everything that the airport can sell, retail, F&B, build a loyalty system, everything. And when we saw the potential of that, we actually decided to not just do it as a project, but make it much more into a solution. And so that's how we came about to develop OM3 and put a lot of resources and staff on this, because we felt that this was something that this industry pretty urgently needed.
Frankfurt has been the stop-go. It was the pioneer. So there was a huge learning curve, I guess, for both you and the airport. But subsequent to that, success story, and I'm sure you'll walk us through what the basket size has improved to and so on. You've picked up Heathrow Boutique, you know, another major hub, and really an even more fully developed omni-channel multi-retailer solution for Auckland. Just walk us through the nuances between the three different opportunities.
Yeah, of course, Frankfurt was pretty much the first to attempt something like that. And if you are a pioneer, that means you make some mistakes at the beginning, you have challenges for sure. They set up a fantastic team internally with the right people. They brought in people from DHL, a lot of people that had experience with e-commerce before, and they did a very thorough business analysis and so on. And so, you know, there was huge learning in this process. The approaches of each airport is quite different though, because each airport has their unique USPs. So while Frankfurt wanted to really capitalize on the breadth of products and the breadth of services and really create this all-encompassing marketplace, the focus for Heathrow, for example, at the very beginning was the focus on pure luxury.
Yes.
Primarily to have that boutique feeling. Heathrow is really one of the airports that has the most wide product range of luxury brands directly at the airport, and so that is what we capitalized on majorly with Heathrow. Whereas for Auckland, there's actually a very unique setting there, because New Zealand is still somewhat underdeveloped when it comes to e-commerce, simply because the market is too small for one of the big players to want to set up huge warehouses there and logistics and infrastructure. Just to give you an idea, a lot of places in New Zealand don't get mail daily, so they get it every 3 days. So, you know, like same-day delivery.
It's kind of the end of the world. It really is.
Same-day delivery is not a common thing that people expect there. So for the airport there, it was really about how can the airport become one of the biggest e-commerce players in the whole country. And so that's how they approached it, which is of course very different from a market like Germany, where it's already super mature. There are hundreds of players. Amazon can deliver within 4 hours to every location in Germany pretty much. So different focus, and this is kind of what we really try to bring out the USPs in each airport and develop them.
Frankfurt's been up and running for about 2 years plus. Heathrow, under a year, and Auckland has just started sort of trading, and again they all start slowly, but it grows. But the vision is for it to be very broadly based for all three. How would you determine how successful your platform has been for each of these?
Yeah, I think there are of course 3 ways to measure success. One is the pure financial success of transactions that you're generating through the platform. That is something that, as you said, exactly right, is growing continuously, and it's very much driven by how much relevant traffic the airport can generate onto a platform. This is very much partner-driven, marketing-driven, reputation-driven. An airport like Heathrow, which has a reputation as being the best shopping airport for 10 years running, has it much easier to get people to a shopping site than an airport who is not famous for that. The second aspect of how to measure the success is something that has been proven as the web rooming effect. So a lot of people actually because impulse purchasing at airports has increased massively over the last 5 years, where it's now about 82% according to Mindset. People are using a platform like that to research products and prices, and then still decide to buy it in retail because they know it's available, they know the price, and they're happy with it, and they still want to look at the product. That, according to studies, accounts for up to 14% of all visitors coming to a site like that. So if you take that into consideration, you might only be making maybe 10 or 20 million in revenues digitally, but you're adding another 30 million on top of that in incremental sales to retail. So that is something that's very important to keep in mind also in an ROI calculation. And it has shown that there's no cannibalization actually between the two channels. The beauty about omni-channel is that they enrich each other rather than cannibalize on each other, versus if you do pure e-commerce and don't have the physical as well, then it starts cannibalizing in some regard.
What's the third element?
The third element, of course, is that airports increasingly also have to represent themselves as places with real customer experience, with great service, with being modern, being digital, being ready for the new millennials roaming through the halls. And that is, of course, something that you know, if you consider that as a strategy, it's now just as important to build a digital sales channel for an airport as it was 50 years ago to build a retail channel. This is, in our opinion, the third reason why a lot of airports are considering going in that direction now.
But aren't they really looking at the bottom line too, where they're looking for the people who actually come through the platform, the average spend per head and the increase in the overall basket size? For them, that's where the rub is, in truth.
Correct.
So, I mean, how have you delivered on those fronts?
Correct. So, of course, the average basket size is a great indicator of what the appetite is of these visitors, and the numbers that we've seen so far are very impressive. So just to give you the most impressive number is with Heathrow, where we now have an average basket size of more than 400 pounds, almost $500 US. And that's more than 5 times the retail average that we see in the airport stores.
And that's been a constant? That has been...
It's constantly growing, actually. So when we launched it, it was already in the 300 pound range, and with every additional luxury range you add, with every brand you onboard, that keeps going up, and we're seeing massive traffic in the, more than 70% of the sales are coming from the categories of luxury fashion, luxury watches, and the very top-end electronics such as $2,500 cameras or MacBooks, tablets, etc.
So, I mean, that's obviously a tremendous result, but as I understand it, Heathrow's vision is to broaden the base quite considerably and move into non-luxury items, something as parochial as car parking or valet parking, bureau de change and so on. Now, they've got some of these on different apps, but isn't the idea to put them under the one umbrella so it's an easy fix for passengers? Correct.
I mean, of course, the general approach that we have with our platform is that retail is kind of the door to the entryway to a much broader digitalization of services and things that the airport can provide. However, of course, you need to think about the customer journey very carefully. The crucial thing is that you have a foundation where, as a passenger, you never have to log in twice, you never have to give your payment details twice, you never have to remember different websites, you never have a problem booking one service together with another. However, of course, the overlap between someone that books a cheap holiday vacation spot and buys a Hublot watch is not particularly huge. So it is important to really think of it as an omni-channel approach, where you might have an entryway for the domestic passengers that are primarily focusing on convenience and speed of service and this sort of stuff, and you have a different entryway for those high-value VIP passengers that might want to pre-order stuff, also might want to book a personal shopper, might also want to book a limousine service into the city, and then combine that with a hotel booking or opera ticket. Yeah, so as an airport, once you have that direct communication to the passenger, you're actually capable to create very seamless user experience, and you can sell them virtually anything because you have that single customer view.
And it can be delivered anywhere on airport, whether they're sitting in a lounge, where they're pick up from the collection points at the gate. That's certainly true of Frankfurt. I mean, will that be the case in Heathrow too, and Auckland?
So what kind of delivery services an airport does is very much part of the business case and also of the local regulations. So for example, in Frankfurt, because a lot of the passengers that we do home delivery to are domestic passengers, so they're not eligible for duty-free anyway, we do quite a lot of home delivery for those passengers. But you cannot do a tax-free home delivery, you would have to make it tax-paid or duty-paid. So in other countries where there is not such a high relevance for that, they might decide not to do home delivery, but they might instead decide to use collection points. We also have a locker integration, so at Frankfurt we're soon going to launch lockers, which will be at the luggage belt, so you can collect your stuff there as you're collecting your bags anyway.
Quasi-Amazon solution, because they're trialling that in a couple of airports, aren't they?
Yeah, from the technology point of view, it's quite similar. But of course, then you also have the airports with a high-end portfolio, where it's much more about providing a concierge-style service, where you want to say, okay, I've ordered a $20,000 watch, but I don't want to go into the store. Can you please bring that to my lounge and show it to me before I accept it? So really, we in the end don't care as a solution provider what those business cases are that the airport focuses on, because we've built this platform to be flexible to do any of it.